Hello again, this is Spectre Senence once again. This video I want to go back and cover the HQ choices. Those that kind of might have been starting to follow along, I kind of went over this a little briefly, but it was a test video, really trying to figure my way through. Kind of want to go through this time a little more specific, give you an idea what the Tyranid army is built around, especially my theme of the ideas. And because the HQ choices are very, very important for the Tyranid army, I want to make sure that I'm able to kind of express, what these HQ choices can do for you, why I choose the models that are in my army, what they have. You should have seen from a previous video of the huge collection of turns I have. I'm starting to put them into an army builder system that Thor from Creative Twilight has built to give me a more accurate scale of points, and I'll be able to kind of really go through those as the armies are scaled into larger sizes and some army builds. But right now, again, this video will be back on concentrating on the HQ choices in a little bit more detail, and I hope this will be a little bit more better in understanding what I'm looking at as models.
Alright, so let's go into detail the Tyranid selections from my army. I put them in order of the codex, so it'll be a little bit more easier to follow and going through. Of the group though, if you remember from the previous video, I mentioned the Parasite of Mortrek is not something I built, so that is the only HQ selection that's out of this list. So starting first, there are 3 models here. These are the Hive Tyrants. The 2 flying Hive Tyrants of what I've used predominantly. This gun tyrant with twinling death spitters or devourers with braden leech worms, relatively new, a concept I've seen other Tyranid players in my area play. They have given him the wings. I went to a different route, making him armored using some Carnifex backs to give him the 2+ armor, a little different for maybe some smaller games, kind of replacing one of my heavy support choices that I normally take. Now again, using Hive Tyrants, especially these guys here, this one here being one of my favorites, the Scything Talons is really designed for tanks, so don't let it fool you, because I normally give him Old Adversary, so he's going to reroll to hit anyways against opponents, but that doesn't give him any opportunity versus tanks. But with most tanks flying pretty quickly, this one with the wings is able to get the 18-inch move. Good chance of chasing down. And this guy is usually on the flanks, where he's not going to go down the middle and get shot up because he doesn't have much of a bodyguard. And Tyranid Shrikes are a little expensive to make that bodyguard happen for him. And with the monstrous creature rule, again, gameplay, very difficult to keep these monstrous creatures alive. But with the Scything Talons, you're going to hit a majority of times on these vehicles. So with a monstrous creature rule of rolling 2 dice, strength 6, good chance of and against rear armor, you're going to pen. He's a great destroyer. I recommend using Hive Tyrants also, not only with Old Adversary, but the Hive Commander, especially if you have a lot of troops that you're going to use. That one just gives you an opportunity to outflank the unit and get them in a little quicker with a bonus reserve roll. So a good upgrade addition for you to use these Hive Tyrants to really help move your force and get into grips with your opponent. And again, I love close combat, so that is why there are 2 of them. This is back from my 3rd edition days, where these guys were really dominant in 5th edition. They're strong, but again, running into some better special characters, they're just a little behind. They have no invulnerable save, so they're a little behind the ball in terms of trying to survive. And with the force weapons, the Grey Knights are out there, they can be insta-killed. So very tough. I don't give them regeneration anymore. I used to give them an opportunity to try to get some wounds back. I just found it was too expensive for them, and really just try to survive with Leech Essence. So Pyrexium, Leech Essence, the 2 psychic powers are pretty much a must on any Hive Tyrant, and hopefully you can get some of those wounds back if you get a little wounded from before you get into the fray. This is my favorite, a converted Keeper Secrets, which I have made into Swarm Lord, which I have dubbed the Queen of Blades. Her history is I've been playing quite a few opponents, and I took the idea that they had captured the DNA on the body of a female Inquisitor and have gotten the secrets of the Imperium, and of course morphed a Hive Tyrant into that fray, so becoming a deadly swords tyrant. Put the bodyguard right behind her, just to symbolize that's how you deliver the Hive, the Swarm Lord. She doesn't have fleet, no extra armor, no upgrades possible, 3 armor save. This is where she can be really hurt. 5 wounds, so you're going to get 4 more with this group. But what I like is the fact that they remove the independent character icon on her. She makes part of the retinue. That means she's now a squad. 2 of the squad are now not monstrous creatures, which means if they can find some cover or get things in the way, she is now in cover. So a really good opportunity to really kind of keep her alive a little bit more. And this unit has always done the job of delivering. I like the Scything Talons. The Lash Whips, because if they do survive, that just puts it down for initiative 1 for her with the 2 Twin Blown Blades she can kill. And in my first video, I made the mistake of saying a 3+ invulnerable saving close combat. It's actually a 4. So she can hold up, but anybody else that has an invulnerable save, if they make it, they have to re-roll it. And it's a really, really hard model to defeat. Now, the thing about the Swarm Warrior people got to understand is the synergy she creates. She's 18 inches for synapse. That's 6 inches more than these guys. The Taveragon can do it, but it has to pass the psychic power. This is an automatic, so she's already with 18 inches, which really holds a lot of the army together. She also has 3 gifts. She can give acute senses, which is not so much in my army because I don't do a lot of shooting, but the Furious Charge and the Preferred Enemy. Anytime, 18 inches, she just nominates a unit, they gain this. And when you start seeing my army builds, which really work with the Hormagaunts, you're really help fusing, you're not having to pay extra points for. So all these extra points that kind of she makes up at her 280 are really just going to go into the other units and help them out. Not to mention, with the reserve rolls she's helping out with, she's got 2 psychic powers, so she can do the Phyrexium and get that Leech Essence off at the same time. Even if you want, you can try the Psychic Scream. That power is not as effective, but again, it's just something that gives you an advantage, provided there are no, backlash ward saves going on from Eldar or anything. But there's a lot that she can really give to the fray, and really a lot of synergy to the army. The Furious Charge on Hormagaunts all of a sudden really helped closing the gap. You don't have to get the adrenal glands for them now, and now they're glancing the backs of transports. And with them surrounding it, they get enough glancing hits. Usually it's going to be to mobilizing, to weapon destroys, to close to wrecks. If enough of them build up, none of the guys are going to be able to get out and disembark, and that can really end up being destroying them. And keep her around a lot of her friends, a lot more other Termagants and Hormagaunts, a lot of the other foot soldiers. She's just going to have to be able to go where she wants, and that really will keep her safe from being just jumped by the best assault units and being overwhelmed by quantity. So you really want to keep that in mind. So again, a great synergy model. This one I have found, since I've been putting her in the army, not had many defeats. She just continued to be the one I could throw at no matter what unit and succeed. So I really highly recommend that you think about the Swarm Lord more. Remember, you're going to have these guys. It won't work without them. It's a pair that a grouping that has to work together. Just because these guys here, again, good, but they can't withstand. Not in Eternal Wars, no invulnerable saves. They're going to die against something pretty powerful. All of a sudden, the Swarm Lord gives you that option. Now, the Taveragon that I built from the Ragnarok Spider is also a cool model. I do not take them from HQ choices. Again, I'd rather have troop because they're not very aggressive models. They don't have a lot they can do. You can build up some things, but just really not a devastating unit in terms of dishing out damage. So they're great in the back. Let your armies move forward, and then these guys are breeding Termagants, and you can really pump a lot of scoring units onto objectives, and that's pretty much what their role is. But they are a good synergy unit to have around because, again, they're going to get the Feel No Pain, and Feel No Pain can really help keep her alive or the other two alive. So if you have these going on and one of these or two of these in your troop choices, they can really help. So I'll cover a little bit more of the Pteranodons and the troop choices because I don't use them much in the HQ slot because it's just too much. They're just too good in the troop slot. Here, you're not going to get the punch that they deliver from these guys. You're going to instead just be holding people back and just try and hope that you can get a lot from your Termagants. But definitely, a Toxin Sax is a must. The Sizing Talents are alright. You'll get most of that, but you really want that breeding of the Termagant. Tyranid Prime. I have used this guy here and there with the Death Spitter. With a unit of Tyranid Warriors, he really will make the effective. This is a good model. Again, I don't want to down him too much. He does make a ballistic shooting Tyranid army good. They'll be more accurate. They take his weapon and ballistic skill, so they'll be hitting on the ballistic skill 4 now. Drop him from Ascetic Spore with a group of Tyranid Warriors, really pretty devastating. But with armor saves out there, the type of weapon Death Spitters are, I just kind of sometimes don't know if I could always count on that, and that's where he is a little dangerous. He can be insta-killed because he toughness 5 from any 10 strength weapon, so that's a little bit. He's only got 3 wounds. That's 1 less than a Hive Tyrant, but he's extremely cheap, and that's the thing. I mean, he's pretty cheap. He can keep you. He can allow you to get some other stuff, but again, I'd really rather have any one of these. Nice, but overall, one of these guys is more devastating and can do a lot more damage the way they're designed and what you can get out of them than the Prime. But again, for small scenarios, possibly kill team scenarios or anything of that sort, the Prime can do some help. Can really help in there. In an Apocalypse game, I would take him with some Warriors just to be a little bit more of a devastating unit for against another unit. But again, it's usually a costly upgrade to kind of keep him alive with another group of Warriors, because that's the bonus. He's an alpha. He will increase their skills, so he doesn't really go alone. You're going to need the Warriors to kind of make him even more effective, and that's a pretty costly unit, and we'll go with that. And of course, there's no Parasite of Mortrix. I don't use him. I'm not big in the swarms, so no real fully opinion on him, except I just don't think he is that effective. So I hope you guys learned a lot from that, and we will move on to elites on the next video.